Hey,
I know.
man, you know what?
Yes, sir.
I, it's good to see you.
Well, thank you. Likewise. Here in Indiana, I was anticipating 4 to 6 inches of snow. I was all prepared and stuff. And as the slow stopped, there was a sort of like a lull in this. It's still forecast, but it was just a lull. I was tempted to go out with my snow blower. I'm too old to use a shovel, or I'm too
Absolutely.
smart to use a shovel. It all
Smart.
depends on how you want to look at it. And as I had put the batteries in the battery charger and was doing something, and the doorbell rang. Okay, I had decided I was going to shovel snow. People don't miss this. I decided I was going to shovel snow. I'm doing all the prep that needs to be done to clear the driveway and the sidewalks. Doorbell rings. Two of the neighbor kids. Now, I have lived in this neighborhood for 3 winters. Okay. Not one did the neighbor kid shows up and says, Mr. Hunt. I said, yeah. Um, would you like for us to shovel your driveway?
Mm.
And I said, excuse me? I'm smiling. I'm grinning. I want to play with him, but hey, too old to play. And they said, well, yeah. And I said, well, how much you going to charge? And there's two of them, right?
Yep.
And they said, $40. My response, because I like messing with people, I said, that's all? And they looked at each other like, I said, hey, no, that's good. I said, listen, guys, I said, you just saved me some sweat. I'm going to pay you to take care of my of the snow. I said, will salting the driveway and the sidewalks, is that included in your fee? Oh, yes, sir. Now, I think somebody missed what I was saying. I was going to do something. And we talked about the law of attraction. Hank, I was going to do something. I'm preparing to do something. Somebody else shows up and they want to do for me what I was going to do for myself.
Mm. Mm.
Now, my time is valuable. An hour of my time is more valuable than $40.
Absolutely.
So I paid the $40 and I came back into the house and I got creative and was able to basically send out two proposals for houses. Okay. The point people are making is if you listen, and we've talked about this, Leland, about the reticular activator mechanism and listening to your gut. And if you believe in the power of attraction, help will always show up.
Hold on, Hank. Let me say this real quick. Does that mean that help will show up exactly how you want it to look?
Well, no, no, and see, and here, I've said to my friends sometimes, and I'm not a religious person. I have become spiritual. I was religious. I'm now a spiritual person, but I still the 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 foundation of my spirituality came from my religious background and Bible. And in the Bible talks about but it talks about a lot of stuff, and I don't care what your religious preference or spirituality is. But it talks about the devil getting busy when you make decisions to do something. And I think of that often. Sometimes you're in the receive frame of mind that good stuff just coming from all over, and I mean, and it's so abundant that you don't know which one to pick or choose. On the flip side, you decide to do something and stuff starts to happen to such a magnitude that you can't even see straight or think straight. Because trouble seems to have a posse. Okay, flooded basement, outside this, outside that, outside this. It's costing money. But in spite of all the bad stuff that was happening, I kept the main thing the main thing. I had a plan. I was able to put my hands on people who were better qualified to do certain things than I. I'm a numbers guy. I let them do that. So I come in here to the computer and I work to be able to pay them. Because there's no way I could do what they did, and it took them 4 days. 4 days, 3 people. So I made certain that I was in a position financially to make certain that I could pay the bill. Leland, what am I saying? I'm saying that sometimes we expect, and you said it, we're expecting lemonade and we get lemons.
Mm-hmm.
We expect coffee, we get coffee beans. We expect ham, we get a hamburger.
Woo! You're
We
right.
expect eggs, we get an egg McMuffin.
That's right.
I just said, well, that's not making any sense. I'm not trying to make it rhyme, but if you don't think what I'm saying is making any sense, then tell me, how do you get unstuck out of your narrow-mindedness? How do you get unstuck when you are being inundated with issues? How do you get unstuck when you and your wife or partner are not on the same wavelength as far as going from point A to point B? How do you do that? Do you get upset? Do you yell and scream? Do you sit and pout? Do you do nothing? Or, in spite of it all, you have a plan. Now you say, well, I'm the type person, I need to see it written down. Sometimes there isn't time to write it down. You got to react and respond like right now, Leland.
But hold on.
Yes, sir.
Even for some people that have a plan written down, their wisdom level, their mindset isn't even at a place so they can comprehend
Mm-hmm.
what is going on anyway.
Wow. Well, or they, people, we are now we're so phone literate that we put everything on the notepad on our phone.
That's right.
And we're constantly putting ideas and stuff, and it's going down and down and down, and eventually there's so much on the phone that you don't even know where it is. So I'm the type of guy, if I've got an idea, I'm doing some research, I just print it off. I put it in a to-do folder. Okay? Now, I may not get to it today, but it's in a what, Leland?
Notebook. It's in the phone.
Which means that eventually I'm going to what?
You can pick it up.
I'm going to pick it up. Now, I am a little older. My mind is not as sharp as it was when I was your age. However, I don't rely on it for me to remember everything. That's why I have a folder. I have a calendar on my desk for the stuff that needs to happen this week. Actually, I have a copy of next week's calendar. Okay. He said, well, why don't you have a calendar for the month or I got a year's calendar, but I'm not worrying about what the hell's going to happen in December. Right now, the immediate thing is what's going to happen right now today. And I might sort of kind of look at tomorrow. But I go back to Covey. I make certain that I take care of the important stuff first.
That's right.
So to the people who are listening, what do you take care of first? Leland, I was talking about how the power, I mean, the law of attraction just sort of kind of brings stuff. And I have commented on and complimented you on the fact that out of nowhere you showed up in my life. And I commented on the fact that I could have played hard to get and put you in the same bucket of the friend that introduced us.
May I say something though, real quick?
Please, we're having a conversation.
If I was not open minded enough to have various lunch or lunch and breakfast meetings based on this mutual friend, mutual colleague of ours, right?
Hmm.
Then I would have never met you.
Wow.
If I wasn't open minded enough to be like,
Wow.
yeah, I'll meet there, sure, no problem. Now, if I was still if I was closed minded, and let's say I did go to the meeting,
Hmm.
if I was a little bit more closed minded, you and I would have never had a actual heartfelt conversation that was genuine.
Wow.
Because how many of us go somewhere and we may meet someone or even see someone in line and we don't say anything to them of meaning?
Wow.
We don't really like, you go somewhere and you say, "Hey, how's it going?" And you don't even mean that. Like you really don't
It's
care how's it going for them.
I'm going to come back to that, but do you think for those who may not speak or follow up, do you think it's either selfishness or overconfidence?
Ultimately, I think it's selfishness. And ultimately, I believe that selfishness comes from a lack mentality or fear.
Now, see, people are going to listen to us as we call people um, not
Selfish?
narrow-minded, but stuck in a certain mindset. Yeah, people, what I'm trying to do is to expose you to me, the foundation, the formulation, the journey of Hank. I was selfish because I had nothing. That was the type of selfish I was. I was selfish because I had nothing. And I wanted to hold on to everything I had. And because I was halfway smart, I was ridiculed. Oh, you think you're this, that, and the other. So all of a sudden you back up and you don't want to be criticized. Not ostracized. You don't want to be criticized. So we do things we go along to get along, or we get along to go along. So then we become part of this phony, fictitious, superficial posse. And we're not confident enough and comfortable enough to expose ourselves to any type of change. Because I've been in situations where I try to help people, they are threatened, they try to take advantage, and we both lose. I lose because they don't pay me for my services. They lose because they fear that I might know too much or know too many people that might be able to help us to expand, which is sick. So what I'm trying to get people to understand is last night, okay, let me see if I can help people. Some of us are so regimented, we're so stuck into our normal daily, weekly routines that we are oblivious to, reluctant to, will not deviate. I had finished doing work because I work until God says, "Hey, that's enough for today." I don't use the clock. God said that's enough. So anyway, let me just get to it. And I was watching something, and it said some people are comfortable being alone, but they are not lonely in their aloneness. And I said, then I smiled because I have used an expression for years. I'm often alone, seldom lonely. So I was intrigued. So then the narrator started to put labels, captions on this this idea, this mindset, this I can't think of the word I want to call it, but I'm off. Even today, I like people, but sometimes I disengage and I just want to be quiet where I recharge. So people who meet me and they say, "Man, you're so outgoing. You're this, that, and the other," which means that I'm an extrovert.
To them.
However, in listening, I am a what? An introvert. Actually, Myers-Briggs says that I'm on the cusp.
You do, huh?
You know, I can play in either one of those in either one of those courts, and I'm okay. And I'm, so maybe I'm schizophrenic. But the
Ah,
point I'm making is that one, know yourself, point one, be willing to expand and explore, point two, and you have to be a little bit trusting to get from where you are to where you want to go, because you can't get there by yourself.
if you could have gotten it by yourself, you would have.
You'd be there. You'd be there. So then you go out and you say, well, look, I know homie, there's a frat brother, there's a church friend, there's a coworker, there's a this, that, and the other. And because you know them, you hitch your wagon to those people that you know and or you feel comfortable with.
Mm,
But if you look at their lifestyle, you wouldn't want it.
mm.
Okay? Because they are not where you think you want to be. So you got to find somebody who's not allowing grass to grow under their feet.
Wow, that's good.
So I think, for me, I'm looking for somebody who's got ideas and not want to go someplace, going someplace. And I think I've said to you on more than one occasion that you're one of the most intelligent individuals I've ever met. Now, I am not. This is going to sound somewhat conceited. I'm no slouch. But I give credit where it's due. You have phenomenal insights and abilities. And if I had been selfish, I would want to drive your train, not knowing anything about what it is that you did. If I was so selfish at my at my age and my disposition, not my position, my disposition, I would have said, "Nah, that's okay." But somewhere down inside, God says, "Sit down, and listen to what He has to say." And God says, "I can help both of you."
Amen to that. And
You
hey,
know? Yes,
like,
sir.
so for those who are listening and it may not have clicked yet, do you recall the parable that you and I have talked about before, which is there was a hurricane coming.
Yeah.
Woman,
Yeah.
woman decided finally to get on her roof.
Yeah. 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 Here's and I've said before, the engine blew in my son's car, so he's in the market for another car. Notice I started to say new car. It'll be new for him, but new means a lot of things.
Relative, yeah.
And he was telling me what he was looking for, and he this, that, and the other. And I'm doing some research while he's at work and stuff, and I'm letting him drive one of my cars. I'm going, okay, that's cool. So we start to go to look at some cars, that he had decided that, three or four manufacturers and this and another. Okay, that's fine. We're going and doing this. And we went to this place. They didn't have it in stock, what he was looking for. They had some, but it didn't like the color, or something was missing. Went someplace else, something was missing. Went someplace else, had a plethora of cars,
Hmm.
every make, every model, and he goes in, and he's looking at the type that he was looking for, the manufacturer that he was looking for, and he didn't say anything. And as we were walking through the parking lot, he says, "Hang on, let me take a look at this." I'm perplexed because that brand had never entered the conversation.
Mm.
And he goes, "Dad, I like this one." I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "I like this one." I said, "But buddy, you I don't understand." He said, "This one has everything that I was looking for in the other cars." I said, "So you weren't looking for a manufacturer, you're looking for certain, what's the word I'm looking for?
Qualities.
Well, not just qualities, but what are those things? All of those little
Oh,
gadgets, all of the little gadgets." He
yeah.
said, "It's got everything. This is the one." And we go in and we seal the deal. The point I'm making is, I think, Leland, that we're out there. We're always looking for what we consider to be opportunity, or we're always looking for what we want. And we end up deciding on something entirely different. Okay. And and we don't even, and in the final analysis, I don't even think we really think about it. Let's see if I can give another example of something.
It could
Through
be
high, uh-huh.
it could be an example of just getting married in general.
Well, that's where I was going to go.
Okay.
That's, may I?
Yes, sir. Please.
In high school and throughout college and post college, the ladies that I dated are nothing like the lady I married. Many of the ladies that I dated were 5'8" and above. They were of the fairer complexion. My wife is 5'2",
She seems,
and her
she
and her
seems tall,
complexion
though.
is somewhere between yours and mine.
She seems tall though. Just FYI for those who haven't met her yet.
Oh, yeah, she walks, and but the beauty is, after 40 years, it's like, okay, like, you know. And the point I'm making is, if you are not aware of your senses will evade you,
That's right.
deceive you.
That's right.
Because I think we have this idea as to what we think is, because again, we're looking with the eyes, and we're being fooled. Okay. Sometimes the smell, you've gone in a place, in the restaurant, and, oh, it smells so daggone good, man. And you sit down at the table, it looks good, and you get a fork full, and you go like, "What the hell is this?" Okay.
Woo! I
Now,
have done that.
I say all of that to say, we don't know what's around the bend in the road. We don't know what's behind door number or curtain number. We don't know. But I believe, again, going back to the law of attraction, that when the curtains are open, you will gravitate to the one that appeals to you instinctively. Instinctively. This young lady walked through with a red dress and wearing Halston perfume. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, does the lady always wear Halston?" And she says, "Well, I appreciate the gentleman noticing." Now that's the pickup line of all pickup lines.
That's a pickup line right there.
But I was just complimenting her. A familiar fragrance. It wasn't a fragrance that my other girlfriend wore. I'm a single guy. I want to see what smells good. So I'd go to the mall and I'd hang out at the counter, at the cosmetic counter, at the perfume counter. Because in the place, that's where the pretty women were. I know I'm sick, but I haven't lied.
Ooh,
But I haven't lied. So to me, it's okay to have a certain degree of selfishness. You gotta protect yourself, but don't let your selfishness keep you in a pickle or a bind the rest of your life.
right. That selfishness can become self-robbing.
And but again, Leland, I think that we need to be able to trust our gut instinct, follow our senses, and then if we've got a question, I've said before, we all need a mentor or a coach. It could be a close friend. It could be even a spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend.
Hmm.
Okay, because we are blinded by the light sometimes, by our own selfishness, our own insecurities, our own inferiorities, our own self-worth. We get blinded. And then sometimes we are desperate and then we act out of desperation. Because then anything will go. And then we find ourselves in a position where we've bitten off more than we can chew. Like we got it now. Now what do I do with it? It's like the expression having a tiger by the tail. Now what are you gonna do with it? So I tell my son, I told him since he was like 8 years old, son, I want you to know that even though you think no one is watching, somebody is always watching because of who you are. And he looked at me like, you mean, who am I? I said, the who you are is a representation of your parents. And he looked at me somewhat perplexed. But dad, but you're you. I said, yeah, but you're my son, and people know you're my son, and they've got certain expectations of you. And he started to dwell on that for a little while. And I said, son, I said, there are a lot of people who know me, and you don't realize it. They know you. And if you out there doing something that's inappropriate, I will know about it. Now, son, please, I don't have spies out there. Okay. But people know what your attitude should look like, what your persona should look like. And if it's not congruent to, conducive to who they think you are or you should be, they're going to say, hey, Hank, I ran into your son. Man, he was hanging out with these guys. He was hanging out this place. And that means to me that they respected me enough because they are named. This is part of the village that we sometimes forget about.
Yeah.
So my question to those of you who are listening is, where is your village and who's in your village? Who's got your back? Who is comfortable enough to be a protector, a coach, a mentor, to be, for those of you who bowl, there are these little boards for people who are learning to bowl. They're gutter guards. Who's going to be a gutter guard for you? And then if they step up, because you'll know that if they're for you, if they step up, if they step to you, it's nothing bad. They're just trying to say, hey man, check this out. And they're gonna whisper, they're gonna break off a little piece and put it in your ear. And where we most times should be grateful that someone respect us enough, care enough about us that they come to us with something that we may be totally unaware of and said, hey, Lou, you know what I mean? Hey.
That's right.
Or that person could be selfish and see what's going on and pay you no attention, no mind because they're looking for you to wreck yourself.
Mm.
Or because you are nice and kind, they try to take advantage of you even when you're down. And you told me the story about a situation when you were down and someone, took advantage of you. And
Hmm.
because I know the guy, I mentioned the guy's name. And what did you do?
The first time you mentioned his name,
Yeah. Come on, tell me. Tell
I'm trying
us.
to, I'm trying to think. I think the first time you mentioned his name, I thought to myself, "Oh Lord."
Well, see, I didn't know. You had mentioned his name. I thought you guys were posse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
That would make sense,
But then when something else, then I just saw this reaction, and I said to myself, that I didn't something wasn't right with that, and I was man enough to do what?
Oh yeah, you asked about it.
That's right. And I said, let's clarify. And then I said, let's clarify. let me clarify. But
My-
Leland, sometimes we go out there, we meet people. You say, hey, you meet somebody, speak to them. We meet people all the time. We don't, most of the time, they don't really have an agenda. They're oblivious to whatever else is going on. They don't live in your house. They drive by and they go, oh, that's a nice house. They come in and go, like, oh, that's a nice house. But every night there's hell and onions going on in your house. I hope I'm making sense to people today.
I hope they understand the importance of this.
I am being joy filled. And there are times that I am selfish to protect myself and my family, that type of selfish. But I'm not so selfish that I'm reluctant to, unwilling to engage to grow. Because if I maintain my selfishness, I stay stuck and then blame the world for my situation. So my question is, who are you blaming for your situation today? Michael Jackson talks about the man in the mirror, I'll say, or the woman in the mirror. Are you true to yourself? I mean, are you really true to yourself? And if the answer to that is yes, hey, I'm happy for you. But if you're like most people, you have good days and you have bad days. And they say, well, I just do laughing. That's just who I am. I enjoy life and thoughts cross this mind, and I'm going like, oh, that was a contradiction. And I think of something else that I could have said. Not notice I didn't say should have said, but because I'm free flowing, somebody is ordering my steps, and it's not Hank. I don't have this. We talked about it. We don't have this manuscript, this dialogue, this script where this is free flowing. So God says, say this. And I go, yes, Lord. Say this. Yes, Lord. Now, because I'm now moving, my mind, I get ready to say something else, and God said, no, don't. You better cool yourself. Don't say that. Because there's a time and a place for everything.
For everything. I want to say this real quick as a closing statement. You mentioned that when someone commits themselves to doing something, that the devil can get busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so all I want to say to everyone is, if the devil is busy in your life, what have you committed to do?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So we will see you guys on the next one.